He's one of the people who's going to have to relocate, whether he likes it or not.
Yeah, the family's been here almost 50.
But my mom built all of these rock walls that you see. So many memories on this little mountain.
For some, it's good news. For others, it's heartbreak. We're talking about the bypassing of 421 going into Virginia in Harlan County. They're going to bypass this mountainous road here that some people hate and other people says they ain't that much of a problem with it. But in this process, some longtime residents that have lived here several generations are going to have to be relocated, and they're going to have to take what the state tells them their property is worth. We're going to talk to some of these people about living in the shadow of the mountain and then having to give up sometimes the only home you ever knew for progress.
And down there is Ramsey's house. And where is that?
And this is the curve that they talk about the most.
Yes.
It's a hairpin curve. And you can see from the guardrails, it's not been too long ago somebody went through there. You know, if they would drive the speed limit.
And there's houses all down in here, and there's that rock.
Wow. That's a big rock.
It is. I can see where they're working there.
Yeah. Sure can.
So sorry for the ones that has to move that spent their lives here. So many years.
Guys, this is Ramsey, and he lives under the mountain, and he's one of the people who's going to have to relocate, whether he likes it or not, because of the bypass going around the mountain. You want to tell us a little bit about what it's like? How long have you lived here?
Oh, we've been here 35 years. When she grew up, and they relocated to Georgia for a little while, we came back to Michigan, and we lived here in the old trailer. And we got new ones since then. And we've been here about 35 years.
And your mother lived here?
Yeah, the family's been here almost 50.
So close to 50 years, the whole family. It's multi-generational, at least a couple of generations.
Oh yeah, more than that. We got great-grandchildren now, and a generation ahead of us.
And they're also going to relocate a cemetery with family members in it. Is that right?
Yeah.
Up there, so they say they can't leave that. And the road's actually not even going through here. They're just denying
not going
access.
on this side. To my understanding, it's not going on this side, but there'll be no access to this place.
Oh, all righty. This is Michelle Ramsey's sister who grew up here.
Yep,
on the
since I was
mountain.
3.
Wow. And so this is very emotional for you.
Very emotional.
Your mom's ashes are
My mom's
scattered
ashes
here.
are on this mountain.
Oh.
My brother's ashes are on this mountain. It's home. It's been home since I was 3 years old. That's 48 years ago.
Wow. Wow. And just look, folks, at the view. I mean, you're under a mountain behind us, but you're on a mountain here, and you have an incredible, I can see how you could fall in love with this. And it's a shame that it's just the issue of access. They're not moving this because they need this for the road. The road, I understand, you told me, is going behind.
You can see it right
that
up here,
mountain.
up on top
Yep.
where they're stripping. It's going
Yep.
over top that cliff line behind the mountain.
So it's just an access issue. They're going to close out the old road.
The old road.
You think they figure out a way to leave some access, but
You would think they would.
and I want to mention something right quick. You can see your brother's trailer is in good shape. It's a nice trailer home. And on account of where the government paid him, they're not allowing anyone to take that trailer.
No.
Even if he gives it away.
No.
They're going to come in here and along with the other homes,
Crush
they're
'em.
going to crush them. Wow. With the homeless epidemic we have in America,
It's a shame.
the best thing the government can do with a trailer in definitely living condition, nice, we was just inside of it, is crush it.
Yeah, it has a new roof. Yeah.
You know, he can't give it away. You can't tell somebody, hey, come and get this.
No.
Wow. I do not see the wisdom in destroying good things.
Well, there's
when
no
people need
wisdom in
some.
destroying nature
Yeah.
for the price of progress
Yep.
when progress is not progress, because the road will stop at the Virginia line. Virginia's already told Kentucky State that it will not expand
Yep.
through Virginia. So you're basically cutting off a beautiful piece of Harlan for a road to nowhere.
And there was an improvement plan from a state senator who unfortunately has recently deceased, where it would have costed that much less and made the mountain much safer, you was telling me?
Yes, he had suggested that they widen the 3 curves that are issues, which is only issues if you're doing over the speed limit and not the speed limit that it says on the signs. And that would save them millions upon millions of dollars.
Well, they done a great job with those curves crossing Pine Mountain in Letcher County.
They did, absolutely.
Over there.
And they left the beauty of the mountain.
Yeah. That road is much better. People used to, I used to dread it, but they left it exactly where it was at, and they widened those curves, done a fantastic job.
Well,
on
they
that.
widened the road, from Harlan to the straight here in Cranks. And that has been good and bad. Now you see dump sites full of brush all over the main road that the county even dumps there. So what is this? It's going to do the same thing. It's going to be the same thing.
Yeah.
To me, that's not progress. To me, I would think that they could spend that money fixing the roads up Smith that are in terrible shape, the roads up Catterns Creek that are in terrible shape, widen the curves on this road and leave everything else alone, and leave everybody who's been here for generations upon generations upon generations. I mean, we're on our probably 4th, 5th generation on this property.
Wow.
And,
So it's going to be moving the road from this mountain
to that mountain.
This mountain, which actually looks a little higher to me.
It is higher, it's going to be straighter, and it's going to be steeper. So it's just eliminating curves, and I'm sorry to say, padding somebody's wallet, I'm sure, somewhere along the way.
Yeah. Now, how many families up here are affected by this? And all of them has lived here a long time.
All of them, the three main, well, there's 4 main families, and that's the Napiers, the Carrolls, the Davises, and the Middletons. The close to 100 years for some of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're the youngest generations here, and we're 48 years. There's a song where there's a line that says, you pave paradise and put up a parking lot.
Yep.
And to me, that seems like what they're doing. You have places like Brevard, North Carolina, Asheville, Sevierville, those areas that they strive to protect nature. Because that's something that brings people in. Nature is disappearing very fast.
Yeah.
And you would think that you would preserve what you have and what your county could capitalize on. And it's the same way in Northwest Georgia, winding and curvy roads. You take Sunday drives, that's what you want to go on. You want to go on a windy, curvy mountain road.
Yep.
You don't want to get from point A to point B in 10 minutes.
Well, the Dragon Slayer from Benham to Virginia, I was talking to a guy that was in here. You remember what I'm talking about? My wife does. He was in here from, he lived in Pennsylvania. And he said, oh, yes, I know Harlan well. Said, we come down once a year to ride the Dragon Slayer. You know, and they come down because that road is so windy.
Look how pretty it is up there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's beautiful. They're capitalizing on that. They have a great magistrate up there.
Yeah. Yep, they sure do. He's doing a lot for the place up there. And I like to see somebody like that actually it does instead of talks.
Me too.
Or
Me
so,
too.
But,
well, I mean, your wife grew up here
Yes,
with
that's
me.
what I was
oh,
fixing
yeah.
to say.
Yeah. I'm going to switch my microphone to her and let her talk a little bit about playing under this rock. Michelle was mentioning my wife actually spent a lot of time here.
Yeah, me and Michelle is childhood friends. We've been friends for...
Since we were 4.
We grew up together.
Wow.
We're actually sisters.
I won't make a joke about how long ago that would be.
Yeah, we're...
A long time.
We've been friends.
I would wake up in the morning.
And we've like, I'd come and stay with her. We played here. It's heartbreaking to me.
Yeah.
This is my area. This is my home. I didn't grow up here, but I certainly came up here with her and played.
When we drove across the mountain, she has said she takes pictures now, and she said we got to do a video, and said I got to take pictures. Said because I don't believe I won't be able to see this scene no more. I won't be able to. I'll drive, and I won't be able to see this. This part of my childhood's gone.
Yeah.
They're
It's
not
heartbreaking.
leaving that road. It's not like over where they built the new road and they bypassed Crummie's, but they left the Crummie's road, so everybody lived on Crummie's mountain can go up there. They're closing this down. You won't get this view no more.
And there's not. There's about the same amount of families on Crummie's Mountain as there is this mountain. If you want to get, down to brass tacks, about the same amount of people, families.
I know to lots they're going to be happy, and it's been talked for years, but we never saw anything, especially when like Virginia was supposed to meet at one time and then that didn't play out, and now they're doing this. We always just heard about it, and now it's actually happening. And and
it wasn't supposed to happen the way they're doing it either.
Yeah.
They were supposed to have been further up the holler than the way they're coming now. So, and I think at one point in time they had explored bridges like they did through Linaroo in that area. So, I'm not sure. And even some of the state people had said, we talked to them, try to talk them into doing such and such, but
it's just hard.
There was
Yeah.
options. The point I want to make in this video, one of the points, is it's not that these people are hurt and they're losing family homesteads, and but that's the only way. That's the only way. In this case, there were options that was put forward by politicians and engineers and stuff that would have been easier on these people. So it's not like there was no other way to do it. You might understand it a little more if there was absolutely no other way, but there was other ways.
Well, and to have this part completed before the other section is completed is really, it doesn't make much sense to me either. I guess there's a method to their madness, but I don't understand it.
Like to me, nobody agreed with nothing, so they came in and said, "This is the way we're doing it.
This is the
You
way we're
gotta
doing
move."
it. Got to move.
So, and that's heartbreaking. And like I said, I know
It's
some people
heartbreaking.
are.
I mean, we have
happy
we
for
have
this,
graves
but-
that we have to relocate. There's graves down in the holler that's been there for a long time. There's graves up on the mountain. Same thing that's been there for a long.
And your
some of those people are already to put not to put a bad term on it, but they're already returned to dust. So the only thing that's going to be there is basically just some discolored dirt. You shouldn't. It's just hard knowing that your family is going to be disinterred for what they call progress. So, my mom, his remains is right up here at the rock house. The rock house was built. Me and Mom built that rock house because I used to play in that in the wintertime. We had a stove in it. And there was an old donkey who was here before we bought the place. And there was all kind of dried donkey dung that I would burn up in the old rock house.
That's the rock house up there.
That's the rock
Yes.
house. Yeah.
Wow.
And there's a cave right above that rock house. If you see that outcropping of that ledge, there's a cave that goes back into that cliff face, and I used to play up in there when I was 7, 8 years old, climb the cliff and just sit up there and play in the sand, and all the memories that this place has had. We used to have barbecues out here. We had a big rock barbecue grill. My mom built, when we first moved here 48 years ago, we kept bulldozing and bulldozing and bulldozing, but my mom built all of these rock walls that you see
Really?
all the way around through here.
Wow. All of those.
All of them. The ivy, all the way out the way where the ivy is, it covers the rock walls, but she built those rock walls, the ones down under the mountain, she built. And
So these right here is your mother done this?
my mom done all of those, yeah.
Wow.
Yep. I remember her out here in a, single mom, out here in a I don't know what they're called, a halter, one of those halter tops back in the 70s.
Yes.
And a pair of shorts with a wheelbarrow, pulling rocks up out of the ground and just stacking them, and we would build these rock walls
Wow.
around everything. Because as you can tell, we're not poor for rock here. So every time we would have it bulldozed, they would be a ton more rocks come up. So we had to have somewhere to put the rocks. So Mom decided that she would build rock walls out of them. And she did. And we made a rock fireplace, or a rock barbecue pit right there. And we used to barbecue when we were kids. All the neighbors down here, Duke and Diane and Denny Ray and Deanna and Louise, and all of us in the holler would just get together and barbecue.
All of that is going to be just memories.
Well, as the state man told me, he said, you can always take your memories with you. Well, yeah, you can, but it sure is nice to be able to look out, or come home. When I lived in Georgia for 25 plus years, it was always, we were never coming back to Harlan, we were always coming back home. I wish you could see it in the summertime, how beautiful it is. It's absolutely beautiful. Or in the fall when the leaves are popping.
Yeah.
There's no prettier place.
Right now.
It's beautiful.
It is beautiful right now. I love this.
You want to walk in the front a little bit and get the...
Yeah, but my mom, her ashes are up. She always wanted to be in the creek, or not in the creek, but in the lake.
Yeah.
And at the rock house. So
she was a fisher.
yeah,
That's
she
for
was.
sure.
So we scattered her where she wanted to be. So now we're going to have to dig up dirt, or leave her here for alone. When that's.
And that's why you scattered some of her ashes here, so
because it's home.
they wouldn't be alone.
Yeah, it's home.
She'd be around family.
This is my walnut tree, and I have babied this walnut tree since I was teeny tiny. This walnut tree is buried about 20 feet underground from here when we would move dirt. And it's huge. It's a huge old walnut tree. But I love this walnut tree. And we have a chestnut tree that's the same way. I used to have a tire swing hanging off of it. It finally, the tire swing, the mining belt that was attached to it finally broke. Rotted away, I guess you could say. But I'm going to get teary-eyed just talking about it. All these pine trees that are on the hill that we just saw earlier, those were planted here when I was 4. So those pine trees are about 45 years old. And I have threatened my brother, even my family, have talked about cutting those pine trees, because if they fall, they're going to fall through the whatever, the trailer. And I'm like, you're not cutting the pine trees, because those are my pine trees.
And this is your mom's pond, right?
And that's my mom's little old froggy pond. Her little old frogs. It's a little bit nasty right now, but
Your mother was a fisherwoman.
my mom was a
absolutely.
fisherman and instilled that into me. I'm a fly fisherman. As you can see, she has a fishing pole on her stone, her little memory stone. This is her little memory pond. And there's nothing better than sitting out here in the evening time in the summer hearing the frogs croak.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful sound.
I love listening to
Yes, I do too. This tree certainly is pretty.
It is. It's a beautiful, beautiful old
Blooms
maple.
out.
Don't know how in the world. We're going to try to dig it up with a backhoe or something and try to transplant it. Hopefully it'll make it. He got that, I believe, off of Barb Parsons 35 years ago, maybe.
35 years ago. Wow.
And when she's in her full glory, my goodness, she is beautiful.
Yeah, I've seen them. Well, they're beautiful.
But I used to play all over his hill. The grandbabies have played all over this hill. The great-grandbabies, we were hoping would play all over this hill. We've had people break arms on this hill, kids break arms and bust tooths out and get their foot cut open, and so many memories on this little mountain.
I want to thank Michelle, who grew up here, and her brother Ramsey, who lives here now, for sharing their story with us. I know it was difficult, but I think it's a story that people needs to hear. Thank y'all so much. Michelle and her husband Randy also run a food pantry in Harlan.
They do lots.
It's called the Mustard Seed.
You know, this home is in good shape. I know of people who lives in much worse condition. It's a shame that they won't let him give it away.
It's going to be crushed. I mean, it's, you know, it's a trailer. It's simple mountain folk. We have people living in tents. We have people living in the flood walls.
Eminent domain is the law that allows the government to take your home for the greater good. Eminent domain says the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. But those words are cold comfort when you're watching all your memories and all you ever knew be crushed under the tracks of a bulldozer.